Yo guys, my name is Vanix and welcome to a new video. So, today I want to showcase a deck that has been performing very well for me. I'm talking about Dragoncraft. When I built this deck, I thought it was going to be a for fun deck, but after a few tries, I ended up using it in ranked mode, and with a win rate above 50% too. So I decided to showcase this deck so that maybe you guys can try it. As you can see, this is the deck list. It is a fairly cheap deck, so if you don't have enough money to build a wallet Dragoncraft deck, you can build this one if you really want to play Dragoncraft. And now let's talk about card choices. 3 copies of Goblin because it's the standard aggro card. 3 copies of Ivory Dragon because it's just a strictly better Goblin. 3 copies of Lyrial because it's a very strong aggro card and it's very good against Shadowcraft right now because the evolve effect can kill skeletons. 2 Trail of Light because as you will see this deck discards a lot of cards, so having one that also lets you draw when you discard it is a very good thing. 3 copies of Dragonite Scholar because it's a card that can't be attacked and it will also keep cycling the cards in your hand. 3 copies of Mushusu. This card is obviously very strong in a face deck because the attack boost is always nice and this one is particularly easy to achieve. 3 copies of Lux Fun Kit because as I said, this deck discards a lot and this will help you fill your board very easily. 3 copies of Gourmet Emperor Kaiza because having an extra card to discard is always nice. 3 copies of Grimnir because it's Grimnir. 3 copies of Eva Wyvern Rider. Of course you can play this card on 3 and it can't be attacked, or you can play it on 7 and it has Storm and it's a fairly hard to remove body, so great card overall. 3 copies of Griffon Knight. And this card is one of the reasons why I built this deck. It's an extremely powerful card and very underrated in my opinion. With this card you basically transform one of your cards in your hand into a 0 play points Blazing Breath, and it can instantly help you to win the board, especially if you go first, because this kills pretty much any 2 play points 2/2. So very strong card. 2 Demonic Strike to have a bit more reach. 3 copies of Venomous Puce Wyrm, and this is another very underrated card in my opinion. Playing this card on turn 5 is extremely dangerous for your opponent, especially if you evolve it, because it will become an 8/9, and that's really hard to remove, especially if you don't run stuff like Dance of Death or cards like that. So this card puts a lot of pressure and it has to be dealt with, and it will often just kill 2 followers and hit 1 evolution point to your opponent. And last but not least, 3 copies of Forte, because it's Forte, it's the best faced card the Dragoncraft class has. So let's talk about other viable choices. Wildfang Dragon Youth. You can play this card instead of Lyrial, and it helps this deck to push for more damage than Lyrial, but I think Lyrial is kinda needed for the Shadowcraft matchup right now, so maybe in the future, if Shadowcraft is not as popular, you just swap 3 of these for 3 Lyrial. Dragon Emissary. Dragon Emissary is a okay card in this deck. It will always draw you Venomous Puce Wyrm or Forte, and that's a great thing, especially because turn 4 Venomous Puce Wyrm is extremely hard to deal with. So it's not a bad card. It's just that in a face deck it's not easy to skip your turn 2. And when I tried this card, it often was discarded by my random effects, so it didn't turn out to be very good. Dragoon Scyther. This card has Storm, it's a good removal, it's a very strong card in this deck, I just don't know what to swap out for it. Maybe Kaiza? If you want to try it, just go ahead and try it. Dance of Death. Another card that is very strong in this deck, but I don't know what to swap out for it. I just don't feel like it's needed right now because there are not as many huge wards as there used to be, but maybe you can swap out the Demonic Strikes for this, I don't know. And Phoenix Rider Reina if you want to have 1 more Storm in your deck, but I don't think it's needed, so I didn't include it in my list. So that will be it. I will show you some replays now. I'm going first. And let's talk about Mulligan here. So in this deck you have a ton of 2 drops. So usually you just mulligan everything to look for a 1 drop. Everything except for Dragon Youth Scholar, because Dragon Youth Scholar is your playmaker pretty much, since it helps you to cycle every card you can play in your hand. There are a few exceptions, of course, like if you already have the perfect 1-2-3 curve, you just don't reroll anything. But that's about it. I was looking for a 1-drop, I kept my Scholar, and I was lucky enough. So I will start the game with a Goblin. Of course, here I play the Goblin. He doesn't remove it. So the best 2-drop to play on turn 2 is Dragonite Scholar. He plays Unica, which is kinda bad here, but I just have to ignore it for now. So I get my Kaiza to have one more card to discard. And I draw into Luxfang Kit, which is very good. I go face, he decides to take the value trade, which is the good play. And here of course I play Real and the Carrot because I want to discard the Luxfang Kit for sure. So of course I take the trade here because I don't want him to heal for more. And I discard Kit, so my board is almost full. He plays Rahab, which is pretty bad for me. Takes the trade. Now here I have two choices. I'm going to play Venomous Pewswyrm, of course, but I can play right into Salamander Breath by evolving the Pewswyrm and attacking this. Or I can kill both of these. I can evolve Dragonite Scholar or the Carrot, kill both to clear the hub, and play my Venomous Pewswyrm, which will become a 6-7, and that's very hard to deal with. But I wanted to take the risky play because I know Dragoncraft are very good against aggro decks. So I just wanted to get the best out of this situation. And if he had the Salamander Breath, I would just lose on the spot. But I take the risk anyway. So I play my Venomous Pewswyrm, I evolve it. And then I go face. So at this point, this follower is an 8-5, which means that whatever he plays, he has to trade for it, except of course if he has a Salamander Breath. But I thought he didn't have one, because else he would have cleared this one, so I was kinda sure I was okay. In fact, he plays Sibyl. And even if it goes to overflow, he can't heal because he has to trade. This is way too dangerous to live alive. Here I draw another. And of course this time I evolve the Dragonite Scholar, because this time a Salamander Breath wouldn't do anything. And here I was lucky enough to draw into Luxfang Kit with my Dragonite Scholar, which is great because it was discarded by Venomous Pewswyrm to fill my board. He plays his Dragon Shiter and another hub. And that's pretty bad for me, but so I had to hope in a good top deck. Good top decks were Forte, or Eifa, or Demonic Strike. So I draw into Demonic Strike. The chances were not too low, so I was lucky, but it's not that uncommon. I of course play it. I discard my Carrot and play another Gourmet Emperor. He plays Ouroboros, which would be bad, but I had a few outs to win this game on the spot, and in fact I draw Forte. And the reason why this is lucky but not so lucky is because I have two draws thanks to Dragonite Scholar, so I was pretty sure it was kind of easy to close the game right now. And of course I take my victory. Next, we're against Swordcraft, and keep in mind this is a ranked game, but this guy is playing a deck I've never seen. So of course here I keep the perfect 1-2-3 hand, because why would I roll any of these? I play my Goblin on turn 1, of course. And then here I'm kinda forced to play this, even if I knew there was a possibility that he had the whole solid swing, because I just didn't have any other to drop. So I had to take the risk. Of course he plays his whole solid swing. And here I decided to go for Gourmet Emperor Kaiser, because I was hoping to draw into a 2-drop to have a better turn 4. He takes the trade, which is very sad because I was hoping him to go face so that I would play Griffon Knight. But Griffon Knight is still the best play here, especially if I discard Trail of Light. Even if killing a 1-1 is not too much of a deal, but my hand is not too great. So Griffon Knight. I was lucky enough to discard the Trail of Light. So he plays a Shading Knight. Takes a good trade. And here of course I draw into a Venomous Pewswyrm. I was going to play Eifa plus Mushusu, but Pewswyrm is always better. So I evolve it, take a trade. And I did this knowing that this would become an 8-6, which means that to kill this, he has to rather have a Dance of Death, or he has to play Albert, evolve it, and double trade. And I was fine with both kinda, because having a Dance of Death for this means that he wouldn't have it for Eifa. So he plays Shrouded Assassin, and that's something I didn't expect. So of course he takes the trade, and this time I go for face because why not? I play the Carrot and Demonic Strike face, and I don't evolve because I know I'd put him at 12, and an evolved Eifa is very hard to deal with, and it deals 6 damage twice over 2 turns. So he takes the double trade on the Carrot, and then proceeds to play Otohime. And this is like the perfect situation for me, because this board simply cannot kill me on next turn. So if I play Eifa, he cannot trade anything to play something else. So if he doesn't have a Dance of Death in his hand, and I know he doesn't because he would have played it on my Venomous Pewswyrm, I just win the game in 2 turns. So he takes the trade. Of course I play my Eifa, evolve it and go face. And at this point he just surrenders because he can't do anything. Next I'm going second against a Shadowcraft, an Aggro Shadowcraft, which is usually a very bad thing. I have a perfect 1-2-3 hand. Of course the 2 is not a Dragon Youth Scholar, but it's fine anyway, so I'll take it. I play my Avari Dragon. Dark Conjurer. Okay, here why did I go for Mushusu instead of Lyriel? It's simply because I was expecting him to be a Skeleton Shadowcraft, which means that I really want to evolve my Lyriel, and I could do a turn 3 Kaiza into a turn 4 Lyriel plus Mushusu. So here of course I go face. He plays Shadow Reaper and takes the trade, because he had a skeleton knight in his hand. So this board is very good for him. But I'm still okay. I take a very good draw. Griffon Knight just clears this one. And then I can go face. Like, Griffon Knight is so good for taking the board. He takes a value trade. I don't know if I agree with that, but good for me, I guess. Especially since I have a very good Lyrial. So of course I play it, and I play Mushusu. Evolve with Lyrial to kill this with effect, and then trade. He plays Prince Catacomb because I'm assuming he doesn't have anything else. And takes the trade on the Mushusu. So here I play the Dragon Youth Scholar, evolve it to see if I draw into something better. And I draw into Kitty, which is not better, but it's still okay. I play my Kaiza. So next turn I can play Carrot plus whatever I draw. And it just surrenders because my board is very hard to deal with at this point. And last we have a game against Havencraft, in which I'm going second again. And by the way, this deck prefers to go first. So I get rid of the Kaizas. And I'm lucky enough to draw a 1-drop. Of course here I play my Goblin. Here I play my Dragon Youth Scholar. I was expecting this to be banished by a Blackened Scripture, but it wasn't the case, he just skips turn 3. So I decided to play Aetha. I play Aetha because I know he doesn't have a Blackened Scripture, so it's fine for it to be played. He plays a Tribunal, and of course it snipes my best card. I was hoping for it to kill anything else, because at that point I would just evolve my Dragon Youth Scholar to make it have 4 health. And having 4 is very important against Havencraft, because it can't be banished by Blades of the Cudgel or by Blackened Scripture. But at this point he kills it, so I decided to evolve Aetha instead, because I was expecting an Ancient Lion Spirit on turn 5. And I was perfectly fine with a Priest of the Cudgel if it was just for remove that, because I draw into a Dragon Youth Scholar, so I know he can't remove both with a Priest of the Cudgel. Priest of the Cudgel, it kills me my Aetha and my Goblin, but as I said, that's not a problem. So at this point I play my Venomous Pewsworm and evolve my Dragon Youth Scholar to make it have more than 4 defense. And on turn 6, the one thing he could do here to remove this almost for free is attack into it and play Judge of Retribution, or play a Themis Decree. In case of a Themis Decree, I would have played an easy Aetha, so I was fine with both things. I mean, of course, Aetha on turn 7. Because he wouldn't have a Themis Decree to remove it anymore. He plays the Devil Grimnir, which is bad for me, but it's still not too bad of a situation. So here I fill my board because I really don't want this to snipe my Dragon Youth Scholar again. I trade and I take the 1 out of 3 chance. And of course it snipes my Dragon Youth Scholar, so whatever. He plays a Dark Jan, that clears my board. Here I prefer to go for Venomous Pewsworm to put some more pressure, because I was expecting him to have drawn one of his 3 or less defense removal by now. So I really wanted Aefa to be the finisher. But he has another Dark Shan, so he clears my board again. At this point I really have to play Aefa because I don't have any other better choice. And I was hoping to draw into one of my last damages, which are of course 3 Forte, 2 Aefas, no wait, actually just 1 Aefa, and 2 Demonic Strikes. So the chances were not too low. It's like a 6 out of 25, which means roughly 1 out of 4. And I could have survived for 2 turns too, so I draw into Aefa and I close the game. Alright, I hope you enjoyed my gameplay. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. And I hope this deck really works for you, just as it works for me. So, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.